Welcome to this episode of Blended, Blessed, and Always a Mess. I'm Aric.
And I'm Angie.
We are married with a ton of kids.
We have 6 kids total. He has 3 and I have 3.
My name's Hallie and I love riding horses.
I'm Lexi and I love agriculture.
My name's Carter and I love eating.
My name's Chase and I love lifting weights.
My name's Summer and I love spending my parents' money.
I'm Dane and I love baseball.
Our show is about our blended, blessed, and always a mess life. And our hope is if you find yourself in the same situation we are in, that by sharing our story, all the fun and all the mess, the challenges we are experiencing, it will give you some inspirations, laughs, and community, knowing you are not alone in this mess.
We appreciate you spending time with us. Let's dive in.
This episode of Blended, Blessed, and Always a Mess is sponsored by the children's book Feathers Matter. As our kids grow up, they face challenges in their life, and knowing their self-worth and their value is crucial to face the headwinds. Purchase this beautiful story to read to your kids and grandkids and start the conversation with them at a young age. They are worthy, they matter, and their feathers matter. You can find the link to order on our Blended, Blessed, alwaysamess.com page. Mention code #blessed for an autographed copy. Welcome to this week's episode of Blended, Blessed, and Always a Mess. We are your hostess with the mostest, Aric and Angie. Just surprised you with that one, didn't I?
Yes.
Based on the look on your face, you are cringed out, as the kids would say.
We do have some cringy vibes sometimes, the stuff that you say.
Wow. If you don't try stuff out, you don't know if it's going to work. People are going to like it or not.
Keep trying. Here's a question I have for our listeners today.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you ever have moments where you think your spouse must think that you are a complete idiot?
Oh, yeah. I think every day you think I'm a moron. I do.
Well, this was really in the reverse.
Oh,
we had this scenario the other day where I'm like, wow, he must think I am a complete moron. Do you want to talk about that?
I mean, it sounds like you're planning to, so I just go with your flow, your vibe.
Okay.
What are you thinking? How did I help you?
Wow. Yes. Help me. So I don't pay attention to politics much because my viewpoint on it is both sides are corrupt. And it's a waste of my energy to try to understand it on either side when it's all a bunch of shit.
Okay.
Anyway.
Yes.
Okay. So Aric, on the other hand, and a lot of my family too, like there's a lot of politic discussion. And you're into it. And
I'm a history minor.
Yeah. I don't think that there's a right or wrong to it. Just sharing that's how I'm wired. And you're more into the politics.
Sure. Absolutely.
Okay. So I get in the mail a sample ballot.
Yeah.
And I just, Aric brings the mail, puts it on my desk for me, his desk for his mail. And when I want to put something on his side of the desk, I'll scooch it on over.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
so
that's correct.
I just put a little sticky note on the sample ballot and I said, let me know how I should vote on some of these. Because I'm going to vote, but I'm not into it. So you just tell me on some of these aspects. Okay, so then he comes home.
What's the problem so far?
Oh, we're not there yet.
I was say it seems normal.
I thought, this is teamwork.
Amen.
So Aric comes home that night and he hands it back to me like, what do you want me to do here? I'm like, well, just tell me how I should vote on some of these things. And he, I swear to God, looks at me and says, you have to go to the voting place to vote, right? And I'm like, what the actual F?
In my defense, you did not vote in the last election cycle. And even in the midterm cycle. So since we've known each other, you have not gone to vote.
Yes, I have.
I'm unaware of this. Okay, well, I am unaware of this.
I've not voted in Columbia, but I voted in Jeff.
Okay.
I
so
missed
see,
it because I hadn't changed my registration.
that's what it was. But at the end of the day, I don't remember you voting. And so for me, it's like, well, she
So
hasn't
you
done this in a
think
while. So she must
at
have forgot.
47 years old, you think I don't know that I have to actually go to the polling place
I
to
just-
vote?
Hey, I was just trying to
That's
do.
what he thinks of my brains.
That is not true. That is not. Don't twist it like that. That is not fair. That's not.
Oh, I share that because I'm
Again.
sure in every relationship there's times where you think, wow, they must think I am an idiot.
That is not what I was
That
thinking.
was one of
for the
them.
record. I just thought you hadn't done it in a while. That was really all I was thinking.
That somehow
So,
I think technology's advanced and I can just like circle in on a sample ballot and they would
I don't know, honey. I don't know. But clearly I've learned a lesson here.
There's our laugh.
I think, at the end of the day, honey, I think that you're the smartest woman I know on planet Earth.
Well
And
done.
I should defer to you for the rest of this podcast. I think that seems smart.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
I do agree with you, though. Like we joke all the time, you and I both, that we're both going to end up, it runs our family. We're both going to end up having Alzheimer's.
I think we have about 10 years left.
I mean, honestly, we're both forgetting so many things on a regular basis. It's like, wait, we talked about that? What
Well,
is
the
happening?
crazy thing is like any sort of illness or ailment that you have, I feel like every symptom is brain fog. So how would you even know if you have early stages of Alzheimer's or dementia when, you have issues with your thyroid, brain fog. Oh, your cortisol levels are like off the charts in fight or flight mode. Oh, it's brain fog. Oh, you've went through extreme trauma, brain fog. Oh, you're going through grief, brain fog. Oh, menopause, brain fog. So I don't know if I am like actually have dementia, early onsets, or it's life and all the brain fog.
I'm really wondering how I'm going to do during menopause.
Right. Here we go. Back to my earlier point.
All right. So that being said, you had some time. We had a really nice weekend last weekend where for once we had just a lot of downtime at home, which doesn't happen for us like ever. And so we got so much done and yet also relaxed. And it was for me soul filling, I would say.
Well, if you remember, our podcast from last week was talking about how rough, like a lot of goodness, a lot of glimmers, but like I was really personally struggling.
Yeah.
And it was hard to pull myself back out of it, even with the glimmers. And actually, like, God knows better than we do because we ended up not having much going on. And we did so many tactical things, but also had downtime. Like I cleaned off my desk that has not been cleaned off in a long time. I reorganized like our decor in the living room, which I like to do. I like to move stuff around.
Yeah.
Every, 4 or 5 months type of thing. And just, we had the kids, but we just had time to just be. And I think it was exactly what our souls needed, was a little bit of a recharge and be at home. And we binged our favorite show, This Is Us. What are we on, season 5 now?
Season 5. There's 6 seasons, and we're not quite halfway through season 5. But we have made a lot of ground in the last 2 weeks because we've just had a little bit of downtime where we've been knocking out episodes. And it is date night, so we're going to do this, and then we're probably going to watch some more This Is Us tonight. I know, we're super crazy. We're getting crazy.
Yeah.
That's what's relaxing to us at this time. The other thing about watching This Is Us, we've talked about this week, you and I, is like, for whatever reason, that show hits all of our buttons and so many things that we've either struggled with or have gone through or are dealing with currently, whether it be with a teenager or each other. And it's just been really special. And I should just say again, thanks to my friend Jamie Mack, who we've mentioned once before, listens to the podcast each week, and he recommended it to us. And he was right. It's a good one.
It's a good one. One of the things this past weekend that I was able to do, which I haven't been to see Phoenix for like 2 weeks, but I had a little bit of time. Was that Saturday evening?
You was Saturday
Yes.
night. You got to run out
Saturday
there.
evening, I went to the barn to spend time with her, and it was different this time. When I went to go see her, she wasn't different. Although I will say when I took some pictures of her, she looked sad in some of the pictures I took, except for the one where she was like yawning. I posted that one on social media.
She looked like
Like a
Mr.
big-
Ed in that. So you
Big
said it to me.
goober. Big goober.
Call me Mr. Ed. Remember that TV show?
Really?
You
I mean,
don't?
I know
From
it
like
was a TV show, but we never really watched it.
I watched it growing
We
up.
did
with
not
my
watch a
grandparents.
lot of TV. We prayed the rosary. That's what we did.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Mhm.
Hail Mary. All right.
So go to the barn, and inside the barn on each end, there was 2 girls working with their horses. They had pictures the next day, and they were grooming them and braiding their hair. And one end of the barn was a mom and daughter. The daughter was probably around Hallie's age. The mom probably around my age. And I'm kind of like in the middle, just scratching Phoenix. That's what she loves. She just stands there, and it's like therapeutic for me just to spend time with her. I was there for probably like 30 minutes and watching this mom and her daughter and just remembering all the times I went to the barn with Hallie, took her to lessons, and just that time of watching her ride, like all of that. Spent a lot of time when she was growing up doing that with her. And I left, and when I'm walking to my car, of course, the tears start flowing. Only this time I'm kind of mad. And it was the first time where I was feeling mad at Hallie. And I've never felt that before. But I know as you grieve, you go through all the different cycles. And they're really not cycles, because a cycle is like a beginning and an end. And that's not the case. But like you feel all the emotions. And for me, I will say, I've said this before, I've not felt like a ton of anger in some aspects. Like obviously I'm angry at the person responsible and for decisions made, all of that stuff, but I've never been angry at God. And up until this point, I've not really felt anger towards Hallie, but like, I don't know what it was about seeing that mom and daughter close to the same ages, and where I'm just like, why did you not listen? And so I get in my car, and I talk to Hallie a lot out loud. Like if I'm driving by myself, I'll talk to her in my head, but also out loud. And I'm leaving there, and it was like, I felt like it was lecture time for me to her. And it was just like, why do I even have to talk to the air to talk to you? And why did you not value yourself enough? You weren't raised that way, right? Like she was raised in a way that you're confident. You can do anything you set your mind to, all of these things. And why did you not listen to us?
So you were talking to her and you were giving her a scolding almost.
Yeah, I was.
Joe.
I mean, it was like, why didn't you demand more? Like, why I have to go to the barn without you? And why couldn't you wait until you graduated college and move in? Like all these things like running through my head because I miss her, and it's so freaking hard. Anyway, I also feel like you have to get it out. So, I spent 15, 20 minutes telling her how I wish she would have kept her dreams and the promises to herself, like the 8th grade letter that she wrote to herself. There were a lot of promises that she was making to herself, to always listen to her mom, like always go after your dreams. Don't let anyone change who you are. I mean, all those things in there, like she was so smart and grounded and strong at a young age. It's like, why didn't you keep those promises to yourself? Anyway, I got home, and you and I hung out that night, and I didn't say anything to you about that conversation. Like a lot of my conversations, especially those are like personal to me. And I keep them all close to my heart in my conversations that I have with Hallie. So then Sunday was a normal church Sunday routine, right?
And church was good.
Church was
good
good.
message.
And then I ended up taking Dane shopping. That kid's getting tall and he needed some new clothes. So him and I went shopping and came back. And when I was walking through the house, when we had just came home, so the garage door opened, shut, doors open and shut, like all of that. And I come in and I walk past our front door and we have double glass front doors. And I just happened to look out on the sidewalk right in front of our house. And there's this big bird that I've not really seen before, like that kind of bird and how it looked. Never seen it before. I'm like, what the heck? Like it caught me off guard because it was a big bird on our sidewalk.
When you showed me a picture later, I'd never seen a bird like it before.
No.
I'd never seen anything like it.
And I didn't have my phone. And so I stood there and watched it. And I'm like, what in the world? And then it kind of jumped up and swooped around weird. And it landed right in front of our office windows, right in our front yard. So this time I'm like, I'm going to go get my camera because no one's going to believe me. And so I get my phone and I video it for a while. Then I end up telling Summer, I'm like, hey, come here and look at this bird. And I'm not sure where you were. You were around here somewhere. But anyway, so then I show her and I send the video to my mom and sisters. And my one sister was like, hey, I know someone that works at conservation. I'll send it to him. So she comes back and says, it's a Cooper's hawk. And it's kind of weird or odd that you would have a hawk like that in your front yard around people. You don't really see them that
We
often.
live in a neighborhood. Yeah.
So then my sister Googled what does it mean when you see a Cooper's hawk? And so anyway, basically online said that a visit from a Cooper's hawk can have many meanings, including a spiritual significance. Could mean that you're being watched over. Others believe it could be a reminder that you're resilient or can get through anything. And so a lot of vibes around that type of energy means your home is safe and secure place. Okay. All right.
That feels good, right? We're
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I don't know about it yet at this point in time.
Yeah. I haven't shared any of this.
I think I might have been napping, maybe.
Yeah, you might have been. So then, I don't know, 2 hours later, maybe, I'm sitting on the couch. Aric walks past our front door and he's like, oh my God. And I'm like, what? And he's like, there's a dead bird on our porch. And I'm like,
Biggin.
So I get up and go look at our front door and I'm like, what in the actual hell? It's a big dead bird. But it's not the bird that was in our front yard.
No.
It was like a dove type of bird. Not big. White dove, but looks like a dove. I'm like, okay. Now I am a little bit creeped out.
I'm like, you yelled at Hallie and now she's coming in hot, is what I was thinking.
Holy shit. Well, I hadn't even told you that. So I'm like, I got to tell you this whole story. This is so weird. I'm mad at Hallie the night before. Then I'm like, then this big bird was in our front yard. Now we have a dead bird on our porch. I don't know. I don't know what is happening, but I am sorry that I yelled at you, Hallie.
I mean, that's what it felt like. So Quinn, I go around back, get a big shovel and a broom because I got to get this big dead bird off the front porch. Chase comes out. He's like, oh my gosh. It was a weird happening for a Sunday afternoon. Right? It
was weird.
And you have to figure the big Cooper hawk had to get it, right?
That'd be my assumption.
That's my assumption. The big Cooper hawk got the other bird.
Our security cameras didn't pick it up. And our security cameras will go off sometimes when there's nothing at our door. Yeah. So it was weird that it didn't catch the big bird flying in or the dead bird getting attacked, nothing. Then you try to analyze it, what does this really mean? And so I have several opinions about what the common thought process or logic is that Hallie's trying to say yeah, you could be mad at me, but I couldn't get out of the relationship. She's the bird that was attack type of thing, which is also feathers matter. Like,
Yeah.
what in the world?
It's a true
So I
story.
don't know.
I think she's saying like, yeah, I was one. The bird that died was really pretty, and the other bird was really ugly and crazy. And so to me, it like continues to be like I was preyed upon, had no choice. This is what happened to me, and that's all we can do with it. And so far, over the last like 3 days or so, we don't have any more dead birds. So I'm keep my fingers crossed and keep moving from there. I mean, woof. Now, at the same time, that day, you sent me a beautiful, beautiful blog that you wrote that you actually shared this week on our social media. And if I'm being honest with you, I think it is some of the most beautiful and poignant, powerful writing that you have ever done. And so I think it would be great if you could share that for people that haven't seen what you wrote earlier this week, because it's really, really good. It moved me as I read it.
I'm glad that you were moved. Well,
Like you're making fun of me, but
no, I don't have like a certain schedule when I write blogs. I more wait till something like comes to me. And I've had in the last 2 years, so many people say like, I don't know how you're doing it. Like you are so strong. And it made me think also this picture popped up on my memory and it's of Hallie and Summer, and they both have shirts on. Hallie's the strong as a mother and Summers says strong like mom. And it made me really think about when you think someone is strong, like people probably wonder, like, what does that feel like to be that person? And on the flip side, okay, if a lot of people view me as being strong, like how would you describe what it feels like to be strong? And I just keep coming back to being strong is not a feeling. Like I don't feel strong. And sometimes I know you'll say this to me, you're the strongest person I know. And it's like an eye roll because it's like, I don't feel strong. What I think strong is more of a choice that you make to either lay down or get up. But like, I feel everything. And that's kind of why I wrote this out. Like, am I fearful? Yeah. Yeah, I'm afraid of a lot of shit. But I believe that God's in control. So then I'm like, I'll get up anyway. And, I think sometimes you have this viewpoint that strong people maybe don't feel pain or don't hurt or whatever. And it's like, no, it's the opposite of that. Like strong people, I feel everything. I am in constant ache and pain. And I know that's not going to ever go away, but I also know that God is the healer, not me. I can't fix this, but I can get up every day and choose to fight forward.
yeah, I mean, you're right. Everything we do every day is a choice, whether that's being strong, whether that's going to the gym, something that simple, whether it's being kind to someone. Everything we do is a choice. Me being kind to someone doesn't necessarily mean I'm kind. It means I made a choice to be kind. And I get it when you say sometimes, I know for a fact, I mean, if you're listening, I say things to Angie all the time. And I know she's like rolls her eyes. It's like, shut up. But I'm like, I'm just trying to lift you up, support you. But again, this was so well written. And I don't think that's just me being biased as someone that loves you and your husband. I just thought it was very powerful.
Yeah, I think the key is like not letting all of that emotion, the pain, the weakness, the anxious, the broken, the sadness, all of that be what makes your decisions. Like what should be making your decisions is your belief in God, and there's a bigger story, and it's that bigger picture in the face of pain and grief. And I think that's the strong. It's like the mind over matter type of thing. And yeah, I definitely have the devil's playlist on those days that it's really, really hard. I mean, last week was a hard week to pull myself out of that suck and be able to kind of find the little nuggets of joy and keep going every day. But I think part of it is like, talked a little bit about this when Molly Fletcher spoke at our Grit with Grace event with my company I work for. It's like if you are not prioritizing the things in life that fill your cup, that give you energy, and you're not in control of how you spend your time and what matters to you most, then that's when you will be completely drained, burnt out. I mean, you could plug that analogy in to anything. If you're fighting hard through something and what you care about and where you're spending your time is not lined up, then it's going to be really, really hard.
That's fair. That's good point. So that's Angie paraphrasing her Strong as a Mother blog, which is kind of really a tease for us to get you to go to our Blended Blessed Always a Mess Facebook page, or even to our website, blendedblessedalwaysamess.com. If you haven't signed up for the blogs there, every time we drop one, you'll get an email that it came out. Great new feature that Angie's added to the website. So highly, highly recommend, because it is really, really good. Now, on the note of the fact that it's been a little bit maybe better of a week this week, let's talk about 3 things that we are grateful for before we wrap today. Do you want to go first, or?
I think you should just go for it. I think I went first the last time.
I know, but I always try to live off of the ladies first policy. So, but it's whatever. First and foremost, I am grateful for the weather that we've had in mid-Missouri. Like, I know if you're listening in Florida, you're like, no more hurricanes. And I totally get that. But, where we live in the middle, almost the middle of the United States, it has been, I would say, the perfect fall. Mm-hmm. I mean, temperatures have been 60s and 70s and absolutely no rain. Even our farmers are able to get out and work on their harvest, which is rare. Normally they're stuck in the mud. So beautiful weather. Grateful for that. We may even enjoy it sitting in a hot tub tonight. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
We'll see. Grateful, number 2, that it is date night. And while we do that almost every week, just real heartfelt, what I'm most grateful about is twice today, once in person and once via text, you told me that you're excited about spending time with me tonight. And that's a big deal, because just based on your hurt, you actually don't say that very often. And I think that's fair to acknowledge. Like, you're in a lot of pain most of your life at this point. And so for you to say that to me a couple of different ways today makes my heart jump, and in a good way, and really just happy for that. So excited to spend time with you tonight, whatever we end up doing. And then finally, just grateful that, knock on wood, it seems like all the kids are doing well in school. Again, knock on wood. I probably just jinxed it.
Yeah. Why would you even say that?
Because I'm supposed to say what I'm grateful for. And right now, knock on wood, it feels like all the kids are doing well in school. Normally we got one straggler, right? But knock on wood. So that's what I got.
This reminds me, I need to check grades.
That's probably a good idea. Yeah. I probably just ruined it right there.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are good ones. For me, I think first and foremost, I am grateful for laughs. Our kids, I feel like this week have really made us laugh.
Yes. And unintentionally too.
Right. And that's definitely some medicine for the soul. So a good laugh is good. I am grateful for my parents, that they are still very much involved in their kids' lives and grandkids' lives. They're super active, and that's just such a blessing to have. I know you got spoiled today when Mom made you a fresh peach pie.
Made me a peach pie. So good. And we did I actually took it into work and shared it with my coworkers, and we did a Facebook Live at my radio station, Clear 99. I don't know if we're going to share that on our Blended Blessed page or not, but just so you can see how good the pie was, because it was outstanding. Right. No one was upset about getting free pie from Grandma Alice. That's for sure. In fact, I think they want more free pie to talk about on the radio. So,
well, there you go. She would do it. A once a month pie tasting from her.
Sign me up.
Yeah. Love it. And I think the last one is probably a funny one, but also serious. I'm grateful for TikTok.
Okay.
Well, for one thing, there's so much information out there. Like, if you want to learn anything, that TikTok's where to go. And I have started this carnivore diet I don't even like saying the word diet, but a carnivore eating habit. And I eat pretty healthy for the most part, but I've read a lot about just the benefits of doing that for 30 days, eating that way for 30 days. Guess what? One thing it eliminates: brain fog.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, there's so many like awesome food ideas out there. So anyway, some aspects, TikTok, social media is bad, but on the flip side, like there's a ton of information out there at your fingertips, and it can be valuable if used in the right way.
I just got to tell you, I haven't said this to you, but obviously this is a blended family podcast. We've both been married before. I have been a part of some awful marriage diet trends in my life. Okay. And not necessarily with you, one. Although you have had me do some things in the past where I'm like, okay, I'll do it. But
like what?
I'm anyway, I knew
He's
she'd
got
say
nothing,
that. She
people.
can't focus on the positive.
It's because you make up stuff like that.
No, I've started to write things down in my phone because she does that where she calls me out. And I really don't. Like we've talked about, I don't remember things. She doesn't. So there are times where I'm like, I better write that in my phone. So if she references it, I can pull it back up. I have like a list now that I've started making since the summer of things Angie said so that I can't get called out that way. This was a compliment that we've now taken down a rabbit hole. Where I was going with this was, my God is a man that loves meats and cheese and dairy. This is the greatest health trend, carnivore, that she has ever come up with, that I've ever been a part of. She made the greatest steak of my life last night. Even the boys were like, oh my gosh, this steak is outstanding. Today she sent me like a carnivore meatloaf covered in cheese and bacon in it. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So honey, I will carnivore diet, health trend, carnivore trend, whatever you want to call it that makes you feel better. I'm on board with this one. Okay.
All right. Now you don't eat the whole thing of meatloaf though. It's just
okay. So portion control is still a thing.
Yes.
Dang it. All right. Good to know. But I am grateful that you found that too. I've had 4 grateful things this week.
See, it just keeps coming.
I love it. All right. Well, that is all we have for this week. Hopefully you will have a wonderful week. I hope you have some good weather where you're at. Can get outside and enjoy a little bit. Have a wonderful week and God bless. Thank you for listening to Blended Blessed and Always a Mess. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and at blendedblessedalwaysamess.com.
Reach out to us on any of our social channels. We would love to hear from you. Have a great week.